نبع الحياة نبع الحياة يا زماني.
we are. see you in there.
Hello everyone, welcome to our third live stream. This is really cool. Sorry, I've just got a little thing about the microphone not being connected. We all good?
Yeah.
We're all good on our side.
Excuse me.
The microphone is not on the headset. It seems to be on the. Sorry guys, a little bit of a tech problem on the computer. The settings on the computer.
Sorry. Okay.
If you can hear me, it'd be great to say hello in the comments. Tell us where you're from, where are you watching from.
Hello. Great, we're back. Hey guys, sorry, we set the wrong microphone up, so you were hearing me from a computer way down there. But hello everyone, so good to have you. Our third live stream. I was going to say third, so now near perfect, but you know that was humbling. Hey, listen, it would be great to hear where you're from, where you're watching from today. I know we've got some people who are coming from the Angel guys, Angel Studios. I know we have some of our Raw Light fans, our Testament fans. I'm Paul Sørstad. I am the creator and director of Testament, which is a multi-season show that is going to retell the Book of Acts. Hi from Northern New York. I'd love to go to New York one day. That'd be great. Hello from New York. We're in London at the moment. So here it's 9 p.m. It's dark outside. So it's a little bit different. Greetings from St. Joseph, Michigan. Hello, Vicky from St. Joseph, Michigan. That's awesome. I love how from California, heard about this stream from Angel Studios. Yes, good. That's great. Hello. I love it. I love that people are just joining in from everywhere. That's awesome. Yeah, we're in the UK, and this is a Southern California. Lapel mic is working great now. Thank you very much. Good to know. From Maui. Amazing. Great. Janelle, thank you. And, Diane from Michigan, USA. Hello, Diane. Welcome to our live stream. Great to have you. Hey, listen, it's really good to put stuff in the comments in the live chat. It just kind of lets the YouTube and the Facebook algorithm know that people are watching this. Then it gets put out to more people, and they might just click on it and stumble across this live stream and get to know all about Testament. We've got a really good show for you today. Today, we're going to be looking at the world building of what we're doing. So we are retelling in this multi-season show, we're retelling the Book of Acts, the story of the early church, but with a twist. We are setting it in some kind of alternate modern day. And the idea came about from actually a feature film that we made, which is also being distributed by Angel Studios. And you can learn more about that, and you can learn more about it at angel.com/testament. And over there, what we're doing right now is we're in an expressing interest phase. So what we want to do soon is open up rounds of investment so that you can own a part of the show, that you can invest into the series, and we'll use that to actually film and produce season 1 of the show, of this multi-season retelling of the Book of Acts. But I'm gonna play a little video. So it's a 5-minute clip taken from the film that we did last year that we made, which is the same kind of idea, and it's what the series is based on. It served as the inspiration for it. So this is what we call our torch for Testament. So have a look at this short clip from Testament, the movie.
You all right?
I'm not used to all this running and hiding. It puts me on edge.
Did you enjoy the meeting, though?
Yeah, it was good. And nice of you to include that story for the children at the end.
Oh, actually, that was more for the adults in the room.
Really?
Yeah. What did you make of it?
Well, it was the sowing.
Mm-hmm.
And the seeds?
The sowing of you didn't understand it?
No, I didn't.
That's okay. To be honest, we didn't understand it the first time you told it. No, he had to explain it to us afterwards in private.
So wait, Jesus would tell this story to everyone?
Oh, he told loads of stories. He talked like that all the time. He'd leave half of his listeners baffled, enrage the ministers, and then leave us to figure out what those stories meant.
But why?
Why what?
Why teach with stories? Doesn't that make everything confusing?
I mean, you should know, right? That's what you're doing, writing his story.
No. This is for a friend back home. A report, more of a report. Words, the facts.
Okay, can I give you some advice? Facts are good. And words, they can impact a moment. But a story, a really good story, that can change a life. Go on, it's just a bit further. Way.
Truth.
Life.
You have a warehouse? How?
Generous donation from the Barnabas family. Have you met James before?
As in Jesus' brother? Yeah, briefly when we first arrived.
They're all waiting at the council room. James is getting worried.
Understandably.
Hi there.
Zach. Luke, good to meet you.
Just through there.
Should I?
Yes!
I managed to evacuate before the guards got there.
What about Ben's gathering?
No word yet.
Mary, glad to see you okay.
Any news on what happened today?
I'm still trying to get a full picture, but they hit us hard. 4 safe houses breached and over 20 arrested.
We've lost the majority of the food banks in the city centre.
Why now?
We're still riled up from Paul's antics at the temple.
No, that was days ago.
Truth is, we don't know. Our contacts at the ministerial council aren't responding. Everything seems to be in some kind of lockdown.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Unless Paul's given us up.
He would never do that.
Wouldn't be surprising, would it? Given his history.
Deborah, bringing up people's
James,
history.
the last time Paul was here, in this very room, he almost split the church. I'm sorry, but I still don't trust them.
It wasn't him.
And you are?
Sorry. Hi.
We've met. You travelled with Paul, came with him to the capital last week.
Luke.
That's right.
Of course he's going to say
Deborah,
what...
please. Well, do you know what's going on?
Maybe. When I was hiding, I heard some of the temple guards talking. It sounded like they were searching for someone in particular. The fisherman.
Clear. It's empty. They knew we'd come here.
No sign of the fisherman, sir. He's not here.
Move on. We keep looking. He can't have gone far.
If he's here, we need to know. Mary, make contact with the remaining safe houses, see if they know anything, find him.
Do you want me to come with?
You'll stay here, Luke.
Yeah, I'll see you again, yeah? God willing. Take care. James, keep it up. Don't forget to eat.
Deborah, you and I need to go over strategy for replenishing food supply. David, you're on lookout tonight. And Luke, welcome. Zach will show you where you're staying. Try and get a few hours of sleep. You never know what God has planned for tomorrow.
I don't know what I'm doing. Everyone here seems so confident.
Hey guys, welcome back. That was our short clip from Testament. This is an exciting project. Cheers, Dave. Thank you. Yeah, short clip. I love the idea of a modern spin on the Book of Acts. That's great, because that's what we're doing. That's good. That's what I'd like to hear. Thanks, Terry. I really like Paul and his team. Andrea, we like you. and your crowd as well. So thank you very much. Excited about this project, Erin. Thank you, Erin. Yeah, me too. We all are, actually. There's a few of us in the room here, and we're excited. So yeah, just a reminder that if you can head over to angel.com/testament, that's where you can express your interest. So currently what we're doing is we're trying to gauge how many people actually want to see this series get made, and trying to gather the interest for that, and people can express interest with an amount of money that when we open investment round, it's not a promise or a guarantee that you have to pledge an amount or any at all, but when we open investment round, that's when you can actually invest and own a part of the show that we will be making, and that money will be used to create season 1 of Testament. What you saw there was actually the first, I think it was the second little kind of chapter of the movie that we made, Testament, the parables retold. It's a retelling of like a small section set 20 years after the resurrection of Jesus, following the character of Luke, who wrote the book of Luke and wrote the book of Acts. And as you probably can tell, it was done in a modern alternate setting, a little bit dystopian. And what we've got right back here, as what you can see, is we've got a few props, a few little bits of costume. David, if you switch camera over, and we'll have a look at that. So we've got a few, yeah, you can see, we've got a few little props, a few little costume bits that we're going to have a look at with Toyosi, who was our production designer on the film. And she's going to be coming in later. Not yet, Toy. She's going to come in later to talk about a little bit about giving us a little bit of a tour of that, but you can't see that yet. Back to the main camera. So that's a little bit of what we're going to be doing, but I thought it would be good to kind of explain the concept or the idea of why we're retelling it in a modern setting. I know our last live stream we talked to Dr. Hugh Osgood, who kind of gave us the theological reasonings and what kind of to be wary of and what to look forward to and what the benefits are. We also talked to Paulette, who played Mary Magdalene, that you saw in that clip, about the artistry and what it's like. But you know, the modern retelling is to really try and engage with viewers in the Bible, in the story of the Book of Acts. Book of Acts is the story that you and I, we're continuing right now, and I think it's a story that it never grows old. We have to keep on engaging with it, and telling it in a modern setting kind of, it allows us to imagine what it might be like, or what it could have been like, or gives maybe a generation who find the text a little bit difficult to read a way in. And you know, our great aim is that people look for spoilers. You know, they'll actually open the New Testament and be like, oh, I wonder what happens next. What happened to Stephen? What happened to Saul, Paul? You know, that's our aim. But with this, the film that you just watched is going to, it follows Luke, and really it's because of things like this. There's this bit in Acts 21 where suddenly Acts is told in this third person the whole way through. It's, you know, Paul did that, Peter did that, this person did that person did this, and then suddenly you have these little moments where it says, this is Acts 21:17. Then it goes, when we arrived at Jerusalem. So suddenly we've switched into like first person, and it gets quite exciting when you think, oh, hold on. So suddenly the person writing this, a lot of theologians think, some people disagree, and that's fine. That's part of it, isn't it? That suddenly the writer's placed himself within the story. And when I kind of saw this, and I'm always fascinated by Luke because he's this outside character. I'm really excited to get to his story later in the series. Obviously, he won't be in season 1. Season 1, we're going to be focusing on the Holy City, the Jerusalem section, so kind of up to Acts 9, I think. But that kind of goes, my goodness, so Luke might have been with Paul at this moment. And you kind of see throughout that chapter, Paul gets arrested. So suddenly Luke has this opportunity to spend the years that he's in prison with some of the earliest disciples. What do they talk about? What do they do? What dangers were they facing? Was the temple guard after them? Were they not? And it's these kind of questions that I'm like, this is exciting to explore, the what ifs, the maybe it went that way, maybe it went this way. And that's what the film does. And it really is talking about the gathering of the Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Andrea just said Luke, the narrator, entering the story. And yes, Luke is a doctor in our modernizing of the story. He's a doctor who's kind of given up his medical practice to follow this mysterious way. And as I said, in the series, Luke won't be in it for a good long while, but I'm quite excited for when he does. We've been doing a few screenings of the film here in the UK, and I've been asking people, what are they most excited to see? And they keep on saying this, they keep on saying that, but for me, it's the entrance of Luke, and actually as well, Stephen's arc in our series, which we've begun to write. So another reminder, if you are interested in this project, it would really, really help if you went over to angel.com/testament and you expressed your interest, because when we hit that, the number of people expressing interest, when we hit the kind of the pledges that we're looking at, or not pledges, the expressed interest amount, that's when we'll open up the investment round. So we're excited for that. So go do that. And as well, if you're watching on our Testament channel, hit that subscribe button. It does help our channel grow. And we're a new channel. We're very, very new. So as soon as we hit the 100 subscriber mark, we can actually claim a channel URL. So as you can see, we've not hit the 100 people yet, even though we've got hundreds of people expressing interest. Terry from Indiana, $1,000. Thank you so much. That's beautiful, and thank you. Very, very, amazing. But also, hit Paul's time in Philippi is the part of the story that excites me. I really am looking forward to the moment where Paul walks into Mars Hill and does that kind of sermon or that exaltation about what that unknown God pillar was, and he talks to all these philosophers and everything. I just think that's going to be a very epic moment. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that bit as well. But that's the kind of looking at the New Testament that I'm excited to do. And when I say that it's a modernization, it's because we're doing it in an alternate modern day. And what I mean by that is, if we imagine a world where 2,000 years ago, God didn't see it fit that Jesus would come at that time, the world would be different. The world would be completely impacted. David, $5,000. Thank you, David. That's a real amazing. Thank you, David. But the world will be different, right? Our whole society, whether people believe or whether they don't, in the account of the Gospels, the world has been impacted massively by the story of Jesus. The movement of the early church. It shaped our world today. And so we are going to be entering a world that is a little bit different to the one that we know now. And there's a few reasons for that, which I'll explore later with Toyasi, about some of the technological advances that might not have been hit, and some of the, empire, world politics, and all of that we'll get into. But today, actually, this morning, I had the real privilege of heading over to the Coptic Orthodox Church, and I got to sit with you call him His Eminence, so His Eminence Archbishop Angelos. So he's the Archbishop of London for the Coptic Orthodox Church. Now, not being part of that faith tradition, it was just an honor to sit with this man who comes from a 1,500-year-old monastic tradition to actually explore this question of what if the world hadn't been visited by Jesus all those years ago? What if it was recent? How has our world been impacted? And I thought there was something really quite beautiful of sitting with someone, of his stature, but also of that ancient tradition that he comes from, just to explore this question. So I was really privileged. We managed to edit it together for you guys to see today, which I'm really happy. So here is about a 10-minute clip, a conversation between myself and Archbishop Angelos. And also, please, just a reminder to head over to angel.com/testament, where you can express your interest. But enough for me for now. After this, we'll be joined by Toyasi, and have a look at my conversation with Archbishop Angelos. Hello, Your Eminence, Archbishop Angelos. It's really great to be with you here in your beautiful place. Thank you so much for having me. Really today I'd like to explore the what ifs of the church, of Christianity, of our faith. But I think to do that first is to really look at the impact that Christianity has had all over the world. You know, that we hear a lot of what, you know, we've done in a spiritual sense, but I think a lot has been done, birthed out of the church in a social and motivational and, you know, healing sense for the world. I'd love to take your take. What kind of, when you look back from the start of the early church up to now, what role have you seen Christianity and the followers of the way play in our history?
Well, first and foremost, it's wonderful to have you here and to be able to speak about the early church in a context that speaks so much of the early church. You know, if you look at the icons in the cathedral, you've got the apostles, you've got disciples, you've got some of our saints, you've got the sanctuary itself that goes back to the Last Supper, you know, in Scripture. And I think if you look at the role of the church of our Lord Jesus Christ, it has been transformative for the world. Of course, from a Christian perspective, it's been transformative because there is salvation. He came to save the world, and we know that and we understand it. But even from a very secular perspective, he came to break down lots of oppressive social norms, lots of inequality, lots of unfairness. He broke down social status and dealt with everyone from the rulers all the way down to the untouchables, you know, those who were sick and those who were sinful and those who had certain roles and jobs that, you know, could not be tolerated. And so it was incredibly transformative. And we see that transformation even in his disciples. They start from being fishermen, tax collectors, and then they're transformed into those who start to become the foundation of the church. And it is that transformation in people that we also see in the world around us and over generations. We hear the phrase, or a phrase that I often like to quote, is the bit in Acts where it talks about they accused them of turning the world upside down. And you know, it's revolutionary, isn't it? When you look at you know, the law to touch someone who is unclean, you know, you would then in turn become unclean. And then yet when Jesus comes, he touches someone unclean and passes his cleanliness onto them, you know, makes them whole. And it's that kind of feeling or the acts that you see in the book of Acts. So turning the world upside down in our 21st century, you know, I guess we live in a world that has been shifted, you know, massively. What would we be missing? You know, if God hadn't seen it fit to come 2,000 years ago, if he had, you know, decided to come later, much later, you know, if Jesus' ministry ended only a few weeks ago, if we were the beginnings or in the beginnings and getting to see the early church birth, what would we be missing in our world that wouldn't have happened? So I think, I mean, I would love to say I know, but I don't. How things would have changed, whether it was 2,000 years ago or 2 days ago, I think our Lord is just as impactful. If that was the best time for it to happen, it would have happened. Of course, Christianity has contributed greatly to understandings of power, understandings of authority, understandings of servanthood, understandings of sacrifice. And so it would be completely wrong to dismiss that effect over the past 2 millennia. Because yes, people speak about the abuse or misuse of religion and sometimes Christianity. But I think when you look at the positive effect it has had, it's much greater. Even in terms of benevolent work, the church has done incredible benevolent work with the sick, with the needy, with the destitute, with the alienated, with the marginalized. And all of that comes from a Christian perspective. Of course, there are other incredibly altruistic people in the world. I'm not saying that everyone who has a hospital or a school or a medical center is a Christian, because there are many people who are of other faiths or of no faith at all who are doing that. What I am saying, though, is that many of those acts that have been done over 2,000 years were through the church in its various manifestations around the world, and through Christian understanding that is lived through her members all around the world. And I think that's incredibly important. So it probably would have had an impact, but I also know that the presence of God is transformative and transformational in and of itself. And maybe it wouldn't have taken 2,000 years for us to get where we are today. Maybe it would have been much faster. It's all hypothetical, but what is undeniable is the effect that our Lord Jesus Christ and His church have had on the world.
I mean, I loved what you said right at the beginning there, is whether He came 2,000 years ago or if in an alternate timeline He would have come 2 days ago, it would have been as impactful, because yeah, Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So I love that. I often find in my church, when people are preaching, when I preach, we often reference or look back to the early church as almost like a marker, you know, to kind of see where we're at, or I don't want to say compare, but compare. What would you say are the, you know, why do we do that, and what are the benefits for doing that?
It's always nice to know where our roots are, where they lie, and where we've come from. You know, I was in Rome recently, and I looked amongst some of the ruins. You know, we drove past the Colosseum, and this is where Christians were killed as sport. I drove past some of the catacombs where Christians were resilient and were serving each other even in the height of danger, but underground, literally underground. It's good for us to remember that, because otherwise it looks like it's just words on paper. When we read scripture, we think it's just a history book. But when we are able to touch and smell and see with our own eyes what that actually entailed, it makes a huge difference. I mean, even in my own church, I am a member of a monastery that is 1,500 years old. And I remember walking down a tunnel, and I'd been walking up and down this tunnel for 5 or 6 years, and suddenly I felt shivers, and it suddenly struck me, finally struck me, that monks had been walking up and down this route on this dirt for 1,500 years. And that kind of connection is just really awakening for us. It makes us realize exactly what we're part of. It's very easy to look at the church today in its state and its manifestations and think how broken we are, how distant we are, how separated we are, who's doing what better than whom. But if we funnel everything back to where it started with the incarnate Word, with His disciples, that then spread to the church.
Your Eminence, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute privilege.
Thank you, and thanks you. Blessings to you and your ministry, and to everyone who's taking part in this initiative. And in our shared ministry in the gospel, we may differ on certain things, but I think you and I today, just in a very short time, have realized how much we have in common and how much we would preach the same. And I think that's the importance of the message, that we are preaching one incarnate Word and one salvation and one hope for this world. So God bless you.
Amen. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that short conversation with Archbishop Angelos. I am joined by Toyosi Fua. Hey.
Okay.
Toyosi was our production designer on Testament and all the parables before then, although that kind of grew slowly.
Merged into one.
Yeah. But guys, before we dive in, just a reminder to head over to angel.com/testament, where you can express your interest. Today has been so far, like, we've kind of had a big kind of surge in expressed interest, which is awesome. I think the team can like show a like a number. There we are. Look at that expressed interest, 964,000 with 678 by 743 people, which is awesome. That's really amazing. Later on in another live stream, I think maybe 2 live streams time, which is about 4 weeks, we're going to actually be talking about, it's just increased. 971, 328. Amazing. That's sorry, we just got news that it increased. But we are going to be talking in a few weeks about why Angel likes to call the team here over at Raw Light in the UK. They use the word scrappy for our filmmaking style. They do.
Scrappy.
We're scrappy.
Is it? Why scrappy?
Why scrappy? Because they heard the budget of what we made the film for, and they were like, "No way did you make the film for that much money."
Why not creative instead of scrappy?
You see, that's what I'd go for, Troy. But they preferred scrappy. So and I'm not letting them live it down. So I'm just going to keep on just reminding.
I will never forget.
Yeah, Angel got called to scrappy. I think it's a positive.
I'll take it positively. I don't like it, but I'll take it.
So we're gonna talk about why they call it scrappy and kind of our filmmaking methods and all of that awesome fun stuff. Andrea says, "Hi Toyosi, so happy to meet you. Thanks for designing such an intriguing world for this story."
Thanks, Andrea. You're welcome.
Toy. Now, just to clarify, I would have Toy on Testament the series, but unfortunately, I don't get to have her on this because Toyosi has just got news that she's been accepted into a very prestigious film school to become a producer.
CCC.
Which is well done, amazing. You deserve it, absolutely, of course, because you're a force to be reckoned with. So we won't have you on the series, but I just think that's like an investment for 2 years that we hopefully one day can afford you in 3 years' time. But we're going to talk a little bit about what we did on the film, but also, I value what you say and your opinions and your artistry. So kind of about what we might think for the series. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do. What is the role of a production designer?
Well, film is obviously not my background. That's not what I kind of grew up doing. History teacher by profession, but always kind of drawn to the creative space or the creative realm. And so I think for me, production design grew out of a real interest in how it looks, how everything comes together, whether that be the location, whether that be the dressing, whether that be the props themselves. And so being a part of Raw Light and then being a part of the shorts and Testament was kind of an opportunity to bring all of that together and make it look good on the screen.
I remember talking to you about, you said, I'm really quite, with a fine-tooth comb, you like going over everything very, very strategically, but you're also very creative. And you said, so this kind of fits in perfectly. It's I got to be really, really detailed and really, really creative in that.
I do not remember that at all.
You don't?
No.
Maybe it didn't happen.
I feel like creative memory. Maybe.
Creative memory, sure.
But I do agree. I can be quite particular.
Yeah.
And being part of the production design allows me to be very particular, but within reason. Like no one can be like, you're being too particular. No, it's for the scene.
Yeah.
It's justified, So I do enjoy being able to be very precise.
So we are going to go over to our table over here in a minute to have a look at some props, but that we used for the film. Do send in your questions, because after this little section, I'm going to try and answer as many questions as I can. So do write your questions in, put them all down, and I'll go through them. Or if you have any questions for Toyosi as well. But we kind of went through when talking about testament, particularly, we've talked. We got that little clip where I got to talk to Archbishop Engelos of what the world might be like, and we made some decisions for testament.
We did,
which I think are some of them at least are going to be carried into the series. Do you want to speak about them at all?
We were very particular about the kind of technology we wanted to have in testament. I think we were conscious about not wanting anything that would act as a marker to where they are. So we don't want technology that is from, 2022 or 2011. And also because, we are talking about a people who are, this new story or the life of Jesus is being shared with them. And maybe we kind of want to make some sort of reference to a kind of traditional way of sharing that information. And so our kind of technology kind of harks back to like a different time.
Yeah, it's meant to feel old.
Yeah.
And yet it is modern. So there was something, I know in our first live stream someone asked the questions, why don't the temple guards have guns? And that was an intentional choice because the type of running that you do away from guns is very, very different to the type of running you do away from a spear or bows and arrows.
Yes.
And also, there's something that kills most films and most series and most anything creative is this thing right here, because the film can be like, we need to find Peter. Where is Peter? He's okay. He's fine. Don't worry. Everything's fine. And suddenly all of our drama is gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
And we wouldn't have the letters. We wouldn't have the writings. It would just be all
a big part, a crucial prop for
emails.
Testament. I know. Yeah, it's like you need the journey of the letter, but it's like
you'd have forwarded many times. On the WhatsApp, it has forwarded many times.
You get that little arrow.
Yeah, I get that from my brother-in-law. It says forwarded many times.
Original messages.
Original messages. I actually don't. It's just the last message he sent was that. Okay, so. We are going to go and have a look. And what we're going to do as well is be a little bit, we're going to move some cameras live. We've got some people behind the cameras. We haven't done this before. So please forgive us if this doesn't go well. But I just ask for grace. And remember to do put your questions in and also head over to angel.com/testament to express your interest. I'm going to be doing a big celebration when we get over that 1 million mark and also over that 1,000 people mark.
That's going to be amazing.
That's going to be really cool.
Have a party.
Have a party.
Yeah.
Okay, so shall we go? Over to this camera right over here. Hello. So come with me. We're going to go this way and we're going to come over to our little prop table over here. I don't know if you can, might need to move up slightly with the lens. Shift it up. There we go. Yes. Okay. Thanks. And are we in focus? Yeah, he's nodding. He's nodding. This is good. This is good. Cool. So this is some of our props table. We've also got a camera up here. If we cut to this one, so you should be able to see like some close-ups of little items that we bring. So we've gone techie, and we hope it works. So, Toy, what character should we tackle? What do you want to tackle first?
I want to talk about the temple guards.
The temple guards. Cool.
It was really, I mean, one, it's very nostalgic seeing all of this here.
It's weird, isn't it?
It was like last summer. Yeah, it was this time. It was August. It was August. So we're coming up to the anniversary of when we started filming.
I'm gonna grab that camera and make it a little bit different. You carry on talking to these guys and have a chat.
So creating the temple guards was really enjoyable. Shout out to Beatrice. We worked together. She is our costume designer, assisted by Xenia, and it was a group effort creating these costumes. Here we have the shield customized. So originally it did have a strip down the middle, but when speaking with our director and creator, he's too, like me, is quite particular.
Yeah.
And he was like, can we move the sticky tape? So
it needed to be recognizable, you know?
Yeah.
I think if you just have just a plain black shield coming your way, I don't know, it
was something down the middle.
I know, but it just looked a bit too uniform. We wanted a bit of...
a little bit shifted or not quite...
Because actually, sorry,
symmetrical.
that's something that we meant to say, really, is is when we are world building, we talk about those ideas, those designs, those things. But the most kind of important thing is to actually set rules, like what exists in our world, what is allowed, what isn't allowed, what do people currently do. And so some of this, this stuff was what's their insignia, how do they approach, what kind of weapons do they use, what is the technological advancement. We have the second camera over here, so we can actually have a look at like close up of the. I don't know if you caught that, David. Yeah, so we've got those like double lines here. And then, these are my favorite bits. This I was very...
Everyone on set was just obsessed with playing with these things. It's like, these are not toys. These are our props. And he's playing with it.
Sorry, I am.
This is the example we had. These are our batons.
So you can have that one, I'll have this one.
Thank you.
We won't fight.
No, we might later.
You might
later. These are our batons. So as Paul was saying earlier, this is not a world where guns exist.
No.
It will take away some of that kind of pacing, I think.
At least not for that, because I don't know about the Empire. But I think for the series, I'm not sure yet on the Empire, but I think for because it's the temple, the holy city, is a place under occupation, right? So the Roman Empire would be in control, or whatever version that is in our series world. So maybe they do, because what weapons are allowed in a country that is under occupation? Maybe they can only have physical stuff, or
because you don't want to arm the resistance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe
we'll see. These are just
like we're writing it.
These are just exactly. That's what I love about the writing process. You're like, ooh, what if?
I wonder.
Yeah. So sorry, carry on.
Yes, we don't have guns in this world. Instead, we have these really cool batons that have torches at the end. I was going to say a light, but torches at the end. I think these are really cool. Like when we had that scene where the three are running away and one of the temple guards is using the torch.
Oh yeah, I think they've used that photo a couple of times of when he's like
he's kind of crouched,
approaching.
Like that kind of, I think that just really adds to the drama. And I just like this texture. There's just something like rough, and I think especially with the leather.
Yes.
Or pleather. I think this kind of harks back to Roman centurions. A nice little touch. Little reference there.
That's kind of part of it, wasn't it? There.
Yeah.
That kind of armor. And this was Beatrice's idea. This was our costumes designer's idea of bringing in some of that old with the new to kind of go, what would their armor be like and things like that. So I thought this was a great idea that she had.
It's like this almost looks like an armadillo, like the.
Yeah. Sure. That's what we were going
That's
for.
what we were going for.
The armadillo.
But that kind of shield.
Yeah.
I think is really cool. And then, that's again on the waist of the temple guards as well. In the belt, we have a torch. Yeah. And then also some cable ties.
Handcuffs, isn't it?
Handcuffs to act as our handcuffs. I don't know, maybe in the series, do these change? Do these evolve?
I don't know, but people are definitely getting arrested.
Precisely.
So, I don't know, maybe they have to be a bit tougher.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Something to think about.
Yeah, something to think about. And then our mask as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's our head. Where's our mask gone? Don't know where our mask's gone. I'll grab us another one. Oh no, okay. No, so as you can see, this is part of the helmet that we're going to be using, but then also we had these. No, we've lost it, guys. We've completely lost our mask. We had one here. Sorry, you keep chatting. I'll have a look.
So another key kind of detail with our temple guards was a sense of like anonymity. And so not only are they all in black, but they also have these masks. And I think that anonymity kind of adds to that kind of terror.
Yeah.
That you can't place them, you can't recognize them. Can I make reference to the final scene in Testament where...
There may be a moment in the film where one doesn't wear this.
Yeah.
That's all. It's just a nice little.
It's not, but I think that humanity, that we didn't really assign to them, because all of this is quite tough, and that kind of shedding of the mask is like there are humans underneath that, and there's a really beautiful moment with some of the other props.
Yes.
I don't know how much I can make reference
Well,
to.
okay, let's chat about, so that's kind of our temple guard, which will evolve and will, we'll have a bigger budget on our series, so we'll be able to kind of make some more decisions.
Yeah.
I think that's what kind of budget stops you doing, is it kind of limits the amount of decisions you're able to do.
Yeah.
It limits how much you can go in or how much detail you can do. So that's what we're very excited for in the series, is to actually have a budget to actually push some of these things and flesh out some of these characters. And what I'd love to do some kind of competition of what's the temple's insignia, or what's the empire's insignia.
That would be great.
And I don't know, maybe that's something that we could involve the crowd in, sending some stuff. And
I think so. And is that then put on the shields?
Exactly. Okay, so that's temple guard. We didn't see any. In our film, we didn't see any of the Pharisees or the Sadducees or the Sanhedrin. We'll be seeing lots of them in the series. So they have their own costume design completely, which I've started thinking about. But that's when we hire our costume designer and our new production designer. So talk to me about the apostles and the disciples and the other guys.
We wanted to go really earthy. These are kind of salt of the earth kinds of people.
See what we did there. That was good.
And we wanted their clothing to reflect that. So there are a lot of earthy tones, browns, greens, kind of beiges. And it's also important that there was a synergy between all of the characters to show that maybe a sense of harmony between them, that they are on the same side, they are on the same team. And that is reflected in the kind of the bags as well, that they are brown, that they are rustic, that they are worn in. These are people that are not enormously concerned with how they appear.
We just got someone expressing interest for $500. David G. Thank you, David. That's really awesome. Thank you.
These are not people that are too concerned with how they look. They are people on a mission, and their clothes and their accessories need to be fit for purpose.
Yeah.
So I really love Luke's rucksack.
Yes. Yeah. That was a good find. That was a great.
I love this.
And I think that's what you just mentioned earlier. I think that was the rule for the disciples, because this is set 20 years after the resurrection of Jesus. So the kind of the followers of the way are a bit evolved by this point. They're a bit, more advanced now. So everything had to be utility based.
Absolutely.
Everything had to be double purpose. Everything had to be able to be used as an umbrella and as a blanket and as whatever.
Exactly. But completely utilitarian. Like, look at how many pockets there are.
So many pockets.
So many pockets.
So many pockets for so many letters.
There's so many letters. So really love Luke's rucksack. Yeah. And I think just becomes a part of his character. He's never really without it. It's always the thing that he rushes back for, because it's so important. It's so dear.
You even had this kind of Luke coming from having a bit nicer clothes, because obviously he's coming from the doctor world. He's new to the holy city. He's a bit traveled because he's been walking with Paul for a while. But it kind of over the course of the film takes course over. The film takes course over the 4 or 5 days. So even in that, you still see that kind of fade into what's coming next.
A bit more,
So these particular ones are Luke's props. Now this one over here, that book is what I showed you as a reference. So this is a book that I was given that I was like, I just want it to. I just love the paper of it. I was like, this is the kind of feel. So you found this, and then I just let's have a camera on. So Toysi, she took this and she wrote out, actually let's have this camera. She wrote out the first 3 chapters of the book of Luke by hand. I said, write something, and she decided to write 3 chapters, which, to be fair, it came up really useful, and it was actually in the...
What is really interesting to me is then we have Luke's handwriting, which is completely different than my own.
Can you hold it this just a bit close. There we are.
Like, that's me, and then that's Luke. So I was like, will the camera pick up on that? Will they see it?
Yeah. No, you're good. You're fine. He was in a rush on one of those days.
Like his calligraphy just kind of slipped. Yeah. He wasn't as deliberate and delicate as he traditionally is.
So this is a big part of the film. The film kind of follows it's really Luke coming to terms with him being a writer and him kind of learning, maybe I'm not just a doctor, because it's his first interaction with learning about Jesus as a storyteller.
Yeah.
That's the kind of first thing he hears. The first time he hears like Jesus' parables is like, hold on, Jesus told stories as well. So it's him kind of, he's just writing notes for a friend back home. But over the course of this film, he, of the older film, he learns to be a writer.
And accepts that part of his identity.
So this is a big kind of, this is like probably most important prop, followed by...
This, I loved researching for this.
Let's show that one close up on the...
It's so like, I don't want to say archaic, but
there we go.
Completely old school.
Yeah. If you're a Gen Z, you don't know what this is.
No.
And that's okay. That's okay.
An opportunity to go and research.
An opportunity to learn. A learning opportunity.
Always a learning opportunity. So this is Luke's voice recorder, and this is what he speaks into.
Yep.
This is kind of how he orates his notes. And I just like, there's just something about it. Like we would hear the whirring, as the tape is spinning, and it's just, there's something just so nostalgic.
And it's bringing in the, you know, historically the Jewish oral tradition.
Yes.
You know, the Old Testament was given so much in oral tradition, as was the New Testament, until they kind of brought everything together. And this is kind of like a molding of those two worlds of speaking, keeping notes, making sure everything's done again and again and again, and then
transcribing it.
Yeah.
Josh, who plays Luke, unfortunately broke it.
Wow, she called you out, Josh. Wow.
Yeah, so a very important prop, but not necessarily well treated by our cast.
We love you, Josh.
We do. You played Luke beautifully.
You did.
Maybe he just really bought into the character, you know, like that Russell, like
the running,
the up and go, like there's no time to...
I think he was just trying to keep up with Kenneth.
Kenneth is very fast.
Kenneth is very fast.
He's very fast.
He's very, very fast.
He is very fast.
Yeah, that's awesome, Toy. I think that was, I hope that was somewhat interesting with our kind of our props, our costume. There is more, like we've got bags and piles and big boxes everywhere, but I thought, you know,
these are the
some, you know, not
just
everything.
Show them a little bit of something.
Exactly, show them a bit of something. So what we're going to do now is we're gonna move back to the table, and I'm only saying this very slowly because we're now going to be physically moving cameras and stuff. But in the meantime, as the team gets ready to do this, please do head over to. I feel like such like a make sure you.
Yeah.
They're welcome to the bingo. Head over to angel.com/testament where you can express your interest. For those who don't know, for those who are joining our stream or have just kind of watched it back and have weirdly clicked onto this moment right here, hello, welcome. But we're gauging interest for a multi-season show that retells the Book of Acts starting on the day of Pentecost. So it's going to be from then on. We might do some little flashbacks throughout, but Pentecost is our day one, following the characters of Stephen, of Saul of Tarsus, Peter, John, Mary Magdalene, Gamaliel. Sorry, I don't know if I got my mic there. So that's what we're doing, and we're expressing interest so that when we do open an investment round, you guys can own a part of the show. You can own a part of the series. And what we've done is, because we want you to be part of all of it, we've thrown the film in as well. So when you do invest, you're actually going to invest in something that's already made, already finished, already complete, has been paid for, has been done. Because, hey, we're going to call this the Testament family. So we want you to be part of all of it. So, right, are we ready to do our little camera move? Okay, here we go. Are we ready, Toy? Actually, me and you are fine. We just need to walk.
Yeah,
okay, so we're going to walk over here. Right.
Q&A?
Q&A. Now, I've lost my... for some reason, I've lost my little thing on here. I do see that there's a question on that monitor, but that monitor is too far away for me to read. So I'm just trying to load it on here. Unless someone wants to yell me the question. Oh, production. Okay, what is the approximate production timeline? That all depends on when we open up investment. When we open investment, when we raise the funds, if we raise the full amount of funds. So
we are aiming for kind of this winter to open up the investment round. And when we do that, then we'll be able to use that money as production. So my ideal would be we go into production after you start your course, unfortunately. I'd like to go into production March, April 2023. And then from there, it would take us 4 months of filming. So I'm thinking a 16-week production for 8 episodes of season 1. That's if we do all 8 first. If we don't get the kind of the full amount, we might do 4 episodes and then 4 afterwards. And then post-production is always a weird one because you never know how quickly and how slowly it might be. So looking at, hopefully, winter next year, ideal timeline. I hope that answers that question. Sorry, I'm just trying to connect to... Oh, okay, so Toysi, I'm having to relay the questions because our monitor's too far and these are not working. So, Toysi, why were there tents inside of the warehouse?
Oh, well, that's to show that these are a people who are ready to go at any time. So it's not as if we could have permanent beds, because that would imply that they stay. But these are people that they're kind of nomadic, and they are also being hunted. So they do need to have that kind of flexibility of movement.
Yeah.
Adequate answer.
I think so. Also, I like tents.
Yeah, I think it filled the space really nicely.
It did fill
like
the
space. Height that they gave. If we just had mattresses, it would have been quite flat.
Creating something dynamic on screen that also makes sense.
Yeah.
I think is part of production design and world building. Is it has to, and we do have that scene in the film where everyone just has to run.
Yes, we do. The false alarm.
Yeah, the false alarm. Fine, she said it.
No, it's a real alarm.
It's a real one.
Just some people think it's false.
Yeah, the alarm is real.
It is real.
Sound does go off. Sorry, we're struggling with our over here.
The truth shout out to my school for lending us the tents, the tranches, the rucksacks, all of that stuff came from my school. So big shout out to them.
Big shout out. Thank you so much. He read it at the same time as this person read it. So did you hear the question?
I heard the question.
Great.
To an extent, yes. We definitely, as Paul said earlier, it's a dystopian kind of world that we wanted to create. I think with other dystopian TV shows or films, the clothing of the main cast can be darker, but we really talked a lot about The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah,
as a starting point in terms of like the coloring.
Not that I watch it, but
no, not that we watch it, of course.
Oh, you might. I don't know. I don't like zombies. The truth is, they scare me. I don't want that.
Soft stomach.
Yeah.
But yeah, Beatrice and I spoke about The Walking Dead as a kind of a big starting point, especially for the trousers, like the cargos, the boots. That was really helpful and kind of helped the kind of world that we wanted to imagine the Testament.
Yeah. Other series and movies. I think for me, what was fun is actually whilst we directed it and actually getting the cast together, what was fun is when the cast read the script, they kind of got back to me and go, oh, it's Star Wars, but the Bible. And I was like,
Resistance, I guess.
Sure, yeah. And the thing is, like, if you really look at Star Wars, it is the story of Acts, right, isn't it? It's the Empire with the evil emperor and the small resistant trying to overthrow. The apostles aren't actively trying to overthrow the Roman Empire; they're just trying to bring the kingdom. But there's that similarity, isn't there, of the thing?
That's a brilliant similarity.
It is. But what was also interesting is, a lot of our cast weren't believers, but what was a great way of actually talking to them about specifically the Holy Spirit is that kind of the Force, and that is definitely who the Holy Spirit is. However,
for them to understand that kind of, it's that sense of being filled and that sense of kind of power, isn't it? So there are similarities, but the Force pales in comparison to the Holy Spirit.
Absolutely.
Do we have another question? No, that was that question. Yes. Where do we plan to film? We plan to film in the UK. So part of why I set up Raw Light is we want the UK faith film industry and TV and media industry to grow. You know, we want it to be in existence, right? What's great about the US and other countries as well is you have such a strong faith-based filmmaking community and viewership, which is awesome. And to be honest, you know, a little bit jealous because how amazing is that? So we are going to film in the UK. I want to pour into the talent of the UK and hopefully bring up other filmmakers to kind of carry on some maybe shorts, some spin-offs, some things like that.
Love that.
Yeah,
legacy.
Yeah, but that's part of it, isn't it? Yeah. We can't hold on to something. We've got to let it go and just give it back to God and say, "Hey, God, this is ultimately, this is yours. You know, this is His story. If He wants it made, it gets made. If He doesn't want it made, it does not get made." Sure hope He wants it to get made, and currently it's looking like it. So that's good.
God's on board.
God's on board. Guys, I think that was the last question that I got from the tech team. No more questions. Perfect, amazing. I hope you found this interesting. We've got some really cool live streams. Do subscribe to the Testament Series channel. We want to hit that 100 so we can claim a channel name. And then, so I think in 2 weeks we're actually going to be looking a little bit more at the movie that we've done. And kind of just exploring the premiere that we did in London. We hosted the London premiere in May, which was very, very cool. London Theatre in Leicester Square, which is like where all the premieres are here in London. And then we've done a few other screenings as well. So I'd like to hear, or I'd like you to hear what people say, what people look forward to, and a little bit about that. Maybe I can get some of the cast and crew on. Maybe. I'll see. I'll see if they're available. Kenneth, are you available? Maybe. He says maybe. We'll see. And then the one after that is I'd like to explore why Angel calls us scrappy. Because, you know, we've got a bone to pick. Creative. I did see someone write scrappy means tough.
Okay, like resilient.
Scrappy does mean tough. It just means we get it done. Like the thing is, it is getting done because that's the kind of heart you got to have. It's like this is getting made, and we're going to make it. So, guys, thank you so much. Toysi, do you have any last words before everyone here wishes you all the best and beckons you on your good fortune on your course where you become a big producer that hopefully I can afford?
Something amazing is happening, and I encourage you to get involved because it's going to be amazing, and it's been amazing being a part of it the past 5 years.
5 years, yeah. That's when we started on the first parable.
5 years, yeah. So get involved. It's going to be sick.
So, and to get involved, you can go to. That was good, right? Yeah, you set me up. You can go over to angel.com/testament, where you can express your interest. Guys, share this. Share our videos. We've got shorter videos on our YouTube channel. I know sending a big live stream to someone is quite daunting, but there are smaller videos that we're going to upload. So do share them. Share the news. We want to get this seen. We want to get this made, and we really want you a part of it. So do #Testament Series if you want us to see anything, if you want to upload a video, if you want to upload a photo, if you want to just reach out to us, DM us or anything like that. But guys, I've loved this live stream. This has been my favorite one so far. It's been really good. So thank you everyone so much. God bless you. We love you. And we will see you next time on the next live stream. Ciao.
working with Paul. He's very, very clear in what he wants, which is great for an actor.
From sort of the Zoom calls and some of the rehearsals, there was a warmth there, and you could really feel the passion from Paul about this particular project.
Everybody is just, I don't know, just so relaxed, and everybody knows what they're doing. Everybody seems to be at the top of their game.
There was such a buzz, just such a great vibe between everyone, between cast and crew.
Everyone who's here really wants to be here, and you can feel there's a lot of love on this set, man, and it's quite rare on sets.
Is literally the nicest group of people that I have ever worked with. Everyone's been really lovely, super organised, like really organised.
It's been a blast. It's been a very chilled out kind of set, even though there's been a lot going on and a lot of takes, but it's been a really nice environment. That kind of makes the difference, really.
Yeah, I'm massively grateful for Paul and the opportunity to work on Testament.
3, 2, 1.